A Georgia prosecutor officially dropped the historic racketeering case against President Trump and others for attempting to overturn the 2020 presidential election. I want to go right to CNN's Kara Scannell. What are you learning, Kara?
Good morning, Pam. Yeah, this new filing in from the prosecutor who had taken the place to look into the Fulton County investigation of Donald Trump and others has filed a motion with the court. He filed what's known as a nolle pros, and that means that in theory, because if the statute of limitations hasn't run out, a case could be refiled. But he attached to his filing about a 20-page statement explaining his rationales for why he did not think that they should move forward with this case. You'll remember this was the case that began with Donald Trump making the call to the Georgia Secretary of State, Brad Raffensperger, urging him to find the votes. And then District Attorney Fani Willis brought this historic investigation and filed those racketeering charges against Donald Trump and dozens of others for interfering with the 2020 election.
A Georgia prosecutor recently dropped the historic racketeering case against Donald Trump and others involved in efforts to overturn the 2020 election. The prosecutor filed a nolle pros, meaning the case could potentially be refiled if the statute of limitations allows. A 20-page statement was attached explaining the decision. The case began with Trump's call to Georgia Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger, urging him to find votes, which prompted District Attorney Fani Willis to open a broad investigation. Mark Meadows, Trump's White House chief of staff, is now cooperating with federal prosecutors. Unlike others, Meadows wasn't just an observer. He had access to all critical meetings, documents, and decisions. His cooperation includes sharing texts and documents that reveal what Trump knew and did behind closed doors. This insider perspective is a major development for Trump's legal challenges, showing his closest aides privately contradicted his claims of a stolen election.
He was then disqualified from the case because of an undisclosed romantic relationship with another prosecutor. And that is how this case now fell into the hands earlier this month of a prosecutor who was assigned the job of trying to find someone to take on this case. He said that he couldn't because there were too many conflicts and he took it on himself. Now we're seeing the results of that. And that is that he is saying Donald Trump, as he entered the White House, the only conviction that he faced out of the 4 indictments was the one in New York for the hush money payments. And that one he is appealing. Pam?
All right, Kara Scannell, thanks so much. I want to bring in former federal prosecutor and CNN senior legal analyst. Ellie, how significant is this?
Well, Pam, this means the Georgia case against Donald Trump is over. This means really all the criminal prosecutions against Donald Trump are over. Now, I just had a chance to quickly read some portions of the motion that this prosecutor put in. This prosecutor, Peter Skandalakis, is a 40-year career, non-political.
The Georgia case changed hands after the original prosecutor was disqualified over an undisclosed romantic relationship. The new prosecutor, despite initial conflicts, took over and now reports that the case is effectively closed. This suggests Trump's criminal prosecutions may be wrapping up, though other legal challenges remain, such as the New York hush money case. Mark Meadows has been granted immunity to testify in special counsel Jack Smith's investigation. His testimony reveals that he never believed the election was stolen and that Trump's election night victory claim was false. Meadows provided extensive documentation and text messages showing Trump's attempts to overturn the election, including coordination with Republican lawmakers, media figures, family members, and even Virginia Thomas, wife of Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas. Meadows' insider testimony directly challenges Trump's legal defense, which hinges on the argument that he sincerely believed the election was stolen. Meadows' evidence shows Trump knowingly promoted false claims, potentially proving criminal intent. Meadows also provided details regarding Trump's handling of classified documents, suggesting Trump knowingly ignored rules. Trump's public reaction, including acknowledging Meadows' immunity deal while continuing to claim election fraud, worsens his legal position. Legal experts see this as evidence that Trump is contradicting his former chief of staff under oath. Meadows' cooperation ties together multiple sources, creating a compelling evidentiary chain against Trump. In short, Meadows' decision to cooperate marks a critical turning point, giving prosecutors direct evidence of a coordinated effort to overturn the 2020 election and undermining Trump's defense, all while his public statements exacerbate his legal exposure. If you want, I can also condense this into a punchy version suitable for a YouTube or social media video, keeping the drama and key legal points front and center. Do you want me to do that next?